Poetry Out Loud is just one of a number of outstanding programs that highlights the value of the arts in our schools. So why should we support the arts, and why should we support poetry and other arts in our schools? And I think it's simple. It's because it's essential to building the skills and capabilities of our young people for the future. And I'm not just talking about skills in doing the arts or writing poetry. It's your skills in interacting with one another. It's your skill in interacting with the world. It's your skill in understanding beauty and kindness. It's everything that will make you a whole person going into the future. And I can tell you, the people who would employ you are looking for that above all. Are you a high-quality person? Because if you're a high-quality person, you will be in a position to do a good job. If you're not a high-quality person, no matter how many skills you have, you will struggle in your job, and your employers will struggle with your performance. So if you think it's all about the arts, it is about the arts, but it's about much, much more than that. And speaking of poetry, poet Matthew Arnold once said, "Poetry is simply the most beautiful, impressive, and widely effective mode of saying things." And I think after you watch our students perform today, I think you will wholeheartedly agree. So I'm looking forward to hearing our young people. Our judges are looking forward to hearing you. And most of all, we're looking forward to having you move forward in your lives, in your careers, as wonderful people who will add to the spirit and the kindness and the character of our community. And I think just from talking to you for a couple of minutes, I think you're well on your way. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies. Tim Herrera is our Communications Director. Before joining SCOE, he served as the Communications Director for several state of California agencies, and before that, over 20 years working in television, radio, and newspaper. Tim is an adjunct professor for Penn State World Campus, National University, and he's the author of several books on public speaking and communications. Please join me in welcoming Tim Herrera.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you all for being here, and special congratulations before we even start to our students, and we wish you luck. Let me tell you a little bit about this event. The National Endowment for the Arts and Poetry Foundation have partnered with U.S. and state agencies to support Poetry Out Loud. The contest encourages our nation's youth to learn about great poetry through memorization and recitation. Poetry Out Loud uses a pyramid structure that starts at the classroom level. Winners advance to a school-wide competition, then to regional, state, and ultimately the national finals. And who knows, we might have a student here today that gets to the national finals. Today we select our Sacramento County representative to go to the state, but before we do anything, I want to introduce our esteemed judges. First, Dr. Steve Winlock serves as Executive Director for our Leadership Institute. He's also a TV personality, theater performer, and educational motivator. Melissa Cerrone is an Arts Education Director for the City of Sacramento. Thank you. Dennis Mangers is Strategic Advisor for the Office of the Mayor of Sacramento. Denny, thank you for being here. And Lisa Lacey is with Images Theater Company. Thank you, Lisa. I also want to introduce some members of the SCOE team. If not for them, this would not be happening today. First, Kristen Coyle from our School of Education. She will be our accuracy judge. Cheryl Roberts, also from the School of Education. She will be our prompter. Carista Yegley from the School of Education. She is our scorekeeper today. Also serving as scorekeeper from our School of Education is Ashley Hathaway Molson. Samaya Khan has been working in reception. She's way in the back. Aliyah, thank you very much. Amanda Wurz is our Poetry Out Loud coordinator for the County Office of Education. Thank you, Amanda. And Tricia Oden from SCOE Communications has also been assisting today. Thank you, Trish. I want all of our student participants and any runners-up who are here today to stand so we can recognize them. Please stand. So there will be 2 rounds for the students to recite their poems. In round 1, the school winner will recite the first selected poem in ABC order according to their first names. And then we'll take a short break, there will be a tally, and then we'll get to the second round. During the break, we'll have refreshments in the lobby for you. Judges included if you need a break. In round 2, students will recite their poems in ABC order by their last name. After the 2 rounds are complete, the tabulator and the scorekeeper will tally the final scores, and we will announce our winner and our runner-up. If there is a tie, and that has happened, 2 finalists will choose one of their poems to recite again for a separate score to break that tie. With the final tabulation, we will announce the Sacramento County Poetry Out Loud runner-up and then the winner, who will move forward to represent our county in the state competition in March. So, enough of me. Would you like to hear some students? Absolutely. Our first student presenter is Alicia Hernandez from George Washington Carver School of Art and Education. It's okay to applaud at any time. Her favorite poet is Shane Coyson, and, interesting fact, she is also her school's student body president.
I Am Trying to Break Your Heart by Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermy thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall, paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off, then all at once. You are mine, put me down. I want to call you thine. To tattoo mercy along my knuckles, I assassin down the avenue. I hope to have forgotten you by noon and to know you by your knees, palsied by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist's tender hands trying to keep from losing skin, the bobcat grin of the living.
All right, Alicia, thank you for that. Thank you for kicking us off. Our second presenter is Alison Joyce from Rio Linda High School. Alison's favorite poet is Maya Angelou, and she also knows American Sign Language.
I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Our next presenter is Amaya de la Cruz from Capital Christian High School. Amaya's favorite poet is William Shakespeare, and someday she hopes to travel the world and do outreach for underprivileged children.
Sweet Tooth by Russell Edson. A little girl made of sugar and spice and everything nice was eaten by something with a sweet tooth the size of an elephant's tusk. "Ah!" he said. "This darn tooth, it's driving me nuts." Then another voice is heard. It's the little girl's father who says, "Have you seen a little girl made of sugar and spice and everything nice? Incidentally, what's that thing sticking out of your mouth like an elephant's tusk?" "It's my sweet tooth, and it's really driving me nuts." "You ought to see a dentist." "But he might want to pull at it, and I don't like people pulling at me. If they want to pull, they should pull at their own pullables." "So true," said the little girl's father. "People should pull at their own pullables and let other people's pullables alone. But still," he asked again, "I wonder if you've seen a little girl made of sugar and spice and everything nice."
Please welcome to the stage now Amori Lee from John F. Kennedy High School. Her favorite poet is Sarah Kay, and in her spare time, she likes to dance.
The World is Too Much With Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours and are upgathered now, like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed outworn, so might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Eden Gidahun from C.K. McClatchy High School. Her favorite poet is Sarah Kay. Eden says Sarah Kay has been a big part of her life.
The contract says we'd like the conversation to be bilingual, by Aida Lamone. When you come, bring your brownness so we can be sure to please the funders. Will you check this box? We're applying for a grant. Do you have any poems that speak to troubled teens? Bilingual is best. Would you like to come to dinner with the patrons and sip Patron? Will you tell us the stories that make us uncomfortable but not complicit? Don't tell us the one where you are just like us, born to a greenhouse garden. Don't tell us how you picked tomatoes and ate them in the dirt. Watching vultures pick apart another bird's bones in the road. Tell us the one about your father stealing hubcaps after a colleague said that's what his kind did. Tell us how he came to the meeting wearing a poncho and tried to sell the man his hubcaps back. Don't mention your father was a teacher, spoke English, loved making beer, loved baseball. Tell us again about the poncho, the hubcaps, how he stole them, how he did the thing he was trying to prove he didn't do.
Our next presenter is from Inderkum High School. Please welcome Envy Hicks. Envy's favorite poet is Morgan Parker because she talks about the truth in the issues that women and minorities face today.
Hello, I will be reciting the poem Comeback, written by Rocket Kalashu. I hate how I can't keep this tremor inside. This mute matter of being made extent. This shiver in being, in no, not being. This wild flying up from the inner surge. And this crack in the apparatus. S-speed around the corner from my particular warble. This quiver of dissolution in a pool of no single thing. This break in the entity of the single, of not a mistake in being made, the suffering of trying to contain this infinite in language, this refusal, inextricable from its mass, this love of love, this being only in your presence, this inability not to err, rather the constitution of my broken image, caressed by this permission to submerge, this bigger and bigger being, tremor of infinite allowances, this telos of cataloging that which can never be disappeared. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage our next presenter, Jeffrey Muller from Cornerstone Christian School. Jeffrey's favorite poet is Shelley, and in his spare time, he likes to watch movies.
Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full. The moon lies fair. Upon the straits, on the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet as the night air, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. At their return, up the high strand, begin and cease, and then again begin. With tremulous cadence, slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles, long ago, heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and round earth's shores lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its long, melancholy, withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear. Ah, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night.
Please welcome our next presenter to the stage, Ifu Ifeofobi from Pleasant Grove High School. Interesting fact about her is that she competes in track and field in the discus and shot put.
Let the Light Enter by Frances Ellens Watkins Harper. The dying words of Goethe. Light, more light. The shadows deepen and my life is ebbing low. Throw the windows widely open, light,
more light before I go. Softly let the balmy sunshine play around my dying bed, ere the dimly lighted valley I with lonely feet must tread. Not for greater gifts of genius, not for thoughts more grandly bright, all the dying poet whispers is a prayer for light, more light. Heeds he not the gathered laurels fading slowly from his sight? All the poet's aspirations center in that prayer for light. Gracious Savior, when life's daydreams melt and vanish from the sight, may our dim and longing vision then be blessed with light, more light.
Please welcome our next presenter to the stage, Kareem Muhammad from Luther Burbank High School. When asked about favorite poets, Kareem said there are just too many to choose from.
Discrimination by Kenneth Rexroth. I don't mind the human race. I've gotten pretty used to them in these past 25 years. I don't mind if they sit next to me on streetcars or eat in the same restaurants, if it's not the same table. However, I don't approve of a woman I respect dancing with one of them. I've tried asking them to my home without success. I shouldn't care to see my own sister marry one, even if she loved him. Think of the children. Their art is interesting, but certainly barbarous. I'm sure if given a chance, they'd kill us all in our beds. And you must admit, they smell.
Please welcome our next presenter to the stage, Miriam Liederman-Bray from Rio Americano High School. Interesting fact about Miriam, she grew up on the East Coast.
Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Samaya Khan from Heritage Peak Charter School. When asked about her favorite poet, she said, Maya Angelou. Oh, wait, Emily Dickinson. Oh, wait, Edgar Allan Poe. Sounds like she has several.
I Remember, by Thomas Hood. I remember, the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now, I often wish the night had borne my breath away. I remember, the roses, red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light. The lilacs where the robin built, and where my brother sat, the laburnum on his birthday, this tree is living yet. I remember, where I was used to swing, and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feathers then, that is so heavy now, and summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. I remember, the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now this little joy to know I'm farther off from heaven than when I was a boy.
Please welcome our next presenter, William Clemente from Kit Carson International Academy. William's favorite poets are Neil Hilborn and Andrea Gibson.
Anthem for Doomed Youth by Wilfred Owen. What passing bells for those who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons. No mockeries now for them. No prayers, nor bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs. The shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells and the bugles that call for them from sad shires. What candles may be held to speed them all? Not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall glimmer the holy glimmers of goodbyes. The pallor of girls' brows shall be their pall, their flowers the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds.
My friends, we have come to the end of the first round. Let's hear it for our presenters. Okay, everyone, welcome back to the second round of the 2020 Sacramento County Poetry Out Loud competition. Let's hear it one more time for our students. So in round two, we call the students up. They will be reciting in ABC order by their last name. So our first presenter for the second round is William Clemente from Kit Carson International Academy. Interesting fact about William, favorite hobby, gardening.
The Mortician in San Francisco by Randall Mann. This may sound queer, but in 1985, I held the delicate hands of Dan White. I prepared him for burial. By then, Harvey Milk had been made monument. No, myth, in the years since he had been shot. I remember when Harvey was shot, 20, and I knew I was queer. Those were the years. Levi's and leather jackets holding hands on Castro Street cheering for Harvey Milk, elected on the same day as Dan White. I often wonder about Supervisor White, who fatally shot Mayor Moscone, and Supervisor Milk, who is one of us, a Castro queer. May 21st, 1979, a jury hands down the sentence. 7 years. In truth, 5 for ex-cop, ex-fireman Dan White for the blood on his hands when he confessed that he killed the mayor and the queer. A few men in blue cheered. And Harvey Milk? Why cry over spilled milk? Some wondered, semi-privately for years. It meant one less queer. The jury turned to Dan White. If only the mayor had been shot, maybe Dan might have had trouble on his hands, but the 12 who held his life in their hands maybe didn't mind the death of Harvey Milk. in the end, he committed suicide. This Dan White, and was made presentable by a queer.
Please welcome our next presenter, Amaya de la Cruz from Capital Christian High School. After graduation, Amaya plans on attending Grand Canyon University, double majoring in business and fine arts.
On Quitting by Edgar Allan Poe. How much grit do you think you've got? Can you quit a thing that you like a lot? You may talk of pluck. It's an easy word. And where'er you go, it is often heard. But can you tell to a jot or guess just how much courage you now possess? You may stand to trouble and keep your grin. But have you tackled self-discipline? Have you ever issued commands to you to quit a thing that you like to do? And then, when tempted and sorely swayed, those rigid orders, have you obeyed? Don't boast of your grit till you've tried it out, nor prate to men of your courage stout, for it's easy enough to retain a grin. In the face of a fight, there's a chance you'll win. But the sort of grit that is good to own is the stuff you need when you're all alone. How much grit do you think you've got? Can you turn from joys that you like a lot? Have you ever tested yourself to know how far with yourself your will can go? If you want to know if you have grit, just pick out a joy that you like and quit. It's bully sport, and it's open fight. It will keep you busy both day and night, but the toughest kind of game you'll find is to make your body obey your mind. And you will never know what is meant by grit unless there's something you've tried to quit. Thank you.
Please welcome our next presenter from C.K. McClatchy High School, Eden Gitahoon. After graduation, Eden would like to go to Brown University to major in sociology and then go on to law school.
It Is Not by Valerie Martinez. We have the body of a woman. An arch over the ground, but there is no danger. Her hair falls, spine bowed, but no one is with her. The desert, yes, with its cacti, bursage, sidewinder, she is not in danger. If we notice, there are the tracks of animals headed east toward the sunrise. And the light is about to touch a woman's body without possession. Here, there are no girl's bones in the earth marked with violence. A cholla blooms just 2 feet away. It blooms. There's a man like her father who wakes to a note saying, I have gone for a day to the desert. Now he knows she is in danger. He will try to anticipate what happens to a young woman, how it will happen, how he will deal with the terrible. In him, he feels he knows this somehow. He knows because there are men he knows who are capable. This place she has gone to. Where? But it doesn't matter. There is, first of all, the heat which scorches snakes with their coils and open mouths, men who go there with the very thing in mind. The very thing. It is the desert on its own, miles beyond what anyone can see. Not peaceful nor vengeful. It does not bow down. It is not danger. I cannot speak of it without easing or troubling myself. It is not panorama nor theater. I do not know. It is conception. The gifts or burdens I bear, whether arch, a prayer, or danger, they can happen. Yes, we conceive them. This very woman I know, the man does sit tortured, the desert created merely embodies its place. And watch us lay our visions, O God, upon it.
All right, our next presenter is Alicia Hernandez from George Washington Carver School of Art and Science. After graduation, she would like to become a midwife.
Advice from La Llorona, from Deborah Miranda. A found poem. Each grief has its unique side. Choose the one that appeals to you. Go gently. Your body needs energy to repair the amputation, humor, phantom pain. Your brain cells are soaked with salts. Connections fail unexpectedly and often. Ask for help. Accept help. Read your grief like the daily newspaper. Headlines may have information you need. Scream. Dropkick the garbage can across the street. Don't feel guilty if you have a good time. Don't act as if you haven't been hit by a Mack truck. Try to talk to the person who died. Give her a piece of your mind. Try to touch someone at least once a day. Approach grief with new determination. Pretend the finish line doesn't keep receding. Lean into the pain. You can't outrun it.
Our next presenter is Envy Hicks from Inderkum High School. After graduation, she would like to go to a university and eventually become a pediatrician.
Hello. I will be reciting the poem Ode, written by Arthur O'Shaughnessy. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams. World losers and world forsakers on whom the pale moon gleams, yet we are the movers and shakers of the world, forever it seems. With wonderful, deathless ditties, we build up the world's greatest cities. And out of a fabulous story, we fashion an empire's glory. One man with a dream, at pleasure, shall go forth and conquer a crown. And three, with the new song's measure, can trample a kingdom down. We in the ages lying and the buried past of the earth built Nineveh with our sighing. and babble itself in our mirth, and o'erthrew them with prophesying to the old of the new world's worth. For each age is a dream that is dying, or one that is coming to birth. A breath of our inspiration is the life of each generation, a wondrous thing of our dreaming, unearthly, impossible seeming. The soldier, the king, and the peasant are working together in one, till our dream shall become their present, and their work in the world be done. They had no vision amazing of the goodly house they are raising. They had no divine foreshowing of the land to which they are going. But on one man's soul it hath broken, a light that doth not depart. And his look or a word he hath spoken wrought flame in another man's heart. And therefore today is thrilling with the past day's late fulfilling. And the multitudes are enlisted in the faith that their fathers resisted, and scorning the dream of tomorrow are bringing to pass as they may in the world for its joy or its sorrow, the dream that was scorned yesterday. But we, with our dreaming and singing, ceaseless and sorrowless we, the glory about us clinging of the glorious futures we see, our souls with high music ringing, oh men, it must ever be that we dwell in our dreaming and singing a little apart from ye. For we are afar with the dawning and the suns that are not yet high. And out of the infinite morning, intrepid you hear us cry, how spite your human scorning, once more God futures draw nigh, and already goes forth the warning that ye of the past must die. Great hell, we cry to the comers from the dazzling unknown shores. Bring us hither your suns and your summers, and renew our world as of yore. You shall teach us your song's new numbers, and the things we dreamed of not before. Yea, in spite of a dreamer who slumbers, and a singer who sings no more. Thank you.
Please welcome our next presenter from Pleasant Grove High School, Ifu Ifeofobi. And she was proud to tell you she was also a member of her school's academic decathlon team.
Over the Roofs by Sara Teasdale. 1. O chimes set high on the sunny tower, ring on unendingly, make all the hours a single hour. For when the dusk begins to flower, the man I love will come to me. But no, go slowly as you will. I should not bid you hasten so. For while I wait for love to come, some other girl is standing dumb, fearing her love will go. 2. Oh, white steam over the roofs, blow high. Oh, chimes in the tower, ring clear and free. Oh, sun, awake in the covered sky, for the man I love loves me. Oh, drifting steam, disperse and die. Oh, tower, stand shrouded toward the south. Fate heard afar my happy cry and laid her finger on my mouth. 3. The dusk was blue with a blowing mist. The lights were spangles in a veil, and far from below floated faint music like a wail. It voiced what I shall never speak. My heart was breaking all night long. When the dawn was hard and gray, my tears distilled into a song For I said, I have shut my heart as one shuts an open door, that love may starve therein and trouble me no more. But over the roofs there came the wet new wind of May, and a tune blew up from the curb where the street pianos play. My room was white with the sun. And love cried out to me, I am strong. I will break your heart unless you set me free.
Please welcome our next presenter, Alison Joyce from Rio Linda High School. After graduation, Alison plans on enlisting in the military.
Passing by Toy Derricott. A professor invites me to his black lit class. They're reading Larson's Passing. One of the black students says, sometimes light-skinned blacks try to fool other blacks, but I can always tell, looking right through me. After I tell them I am black, I ask the class, was I passing when I was just sitting here before I told you? A white woman shakes her head desperately, as if I had deliberately deceived her. Why pursue passing is based on what I leave out and not what she fills in. In one scene in the book, she's passing, though no one checked her at the door. Hey, you black? My father, who looked white, would tell me this story. Every year when he'd go to get his driver's license, the man at the window filling out the form would ask, white or black? Pencil poised without looking up. My father wouldn't pass, but he might use silence to trap a devil. When he didn't speak, the man would look up at my father's face. What did he write? My father quizzed me.
Please welcome to the stage Samaya Khan from Heritage Peak Charter School. After graduation, Samaya plans on starting her own business.
Cage Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with the fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dream. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with the fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Miriam Liederman-Bray from Rio Americano High School. Miriam says she is passionate about music and has played piano her whole life.
Movement Song by Audre Lorde. I have studied the tight curls on the back of your neck, moving away from me. Beyond anger or failure, your face in the evening schools of longing. Through mornings of wish and ripen, we were always saying goodbye. In the blood, in the bone, over coffee, before dashing for elevators, going in opposite directions, without goodbyes. Do not remember me as a bridge, nor a roof, as the maker of legends, nor as a trap door to that world where black and white clericals hang on the edge of beauty in 5 o'clock elevators, twitching their shoulders to avoid other flesh, and now there's someone to speak for them. Moving away from me into tomorrow's morning of wish and ripen, your goodbye is a promise of lightning in the last angel's hand, unwelcome and warning. The sands have run out against us. We were rewarded by journeys away from each other, into desire, into mornings alone, where excuse and endurance mingle, conceiving decision. Do not remember me as disaster, nor as the keeper of secrets. I am a fellow rider in the cattle cars, watching. You move slowly out of my bed, saying we cannot waste time, only ourselves.
Please welcome now Amori Lee from John F. Kennedy High School. Well, at the high school, she is vice president of the Smile Club, which focuses on mindfulness and mental health.
Passing by Toy Dericote. A professor invites me to his black lit class. They're reading Larson's Passing. One of the black students says, "Sometimes light-skinned blacks think they can fool other blacks, but I can always tell." Looking right through me. After I tell them I am black, I ask the class, was I passing when I was just sitting here before I told you? A white woman shakes her head desperately, as if I had deliberately deceived her. She keeps examining my face, then turning away as if she hopes I'll disappear. Why presume passing is based on what I leave out and not what she fills in? In one scene in the book, in a restaurant, she's passing, though no one checked her at the door. "Hey, you black." My father, who looked white, told me this story. Every year when he'd go to get his driver's license, the man at the window filling out the form would ask white or black, pencil poised without looking up. My father wouldn't pass, but he might use silence to trap a devil. When he didn't speak, the man would look up at my father's face. "What did he write?" My father quizzed me.
Our next presenter is Kareem Muhammad from Luther Burbank High School. After graduation, Kareem plans on joining and then pursuing a career in the Army.
That's good enough. Golden Retrievals by Mark Doty. Fetch? Balls and sticks capture my attention seconds at a time. Catch? I don't think so. Bunny? Tumbling leaf? A squirrel who's, oh joy, actually scared? Sniff the wind, then I'm off again. Muck, pond, ditch, residue of any thrillingly dead thing, and you. Either you're sunk in the past, half our walk thinking of which you can never bring back, or else you're off in some fog concerning tomorrow? Is that what you call it? My work, to ensnare time's warp and woof, retrieving my haze-headed friend, you. This shining bark, as Zen Master's bronzy gong, calls you here entirely now. Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow.
Our next presenter is Jeffrey Muller from Cornerstone Christian School.
Let It Be Forgotten by Sara Teasdale. Let it be forgotten as a flower is forgotten, forgotten as a fire that once was singing gold. Let it be forgotten forever and ever. Time is a kind friend. He will make us old. If anyone asks, say it was forgotten, long and long ago, as a flower, as a fire, as a hushed footfall in a long forgotten snow.
And that completes our second round. Let's hear it for our participants. So the Sacramento County Office of Education would like to thank all the school coaches for their time and effort and enthusiasm for all they've done to devote to Poetry Out Loud, and for encouraging the students to participate and really immerse themselves in some great classic literature. We'd also like to acknowledge all of the many students who participated at their school sites in this process. All winners are gaining a broader appreciation for poetry and developing their public speaking skills and increasing their sense of self-esteem. We would like to thank all of our participants for joining us this year. So, yes, let's do that. And we really need to thank our judges. Let's thank our judges. A very difficult task today, so thank you all for being here. First, we would like to announce the Sacramento County runner-up for the 2020 Poetry Out Loud competition. In the event the winner is unable to participate in the state competition March 15th and 16th, the runner-up will represent Sacramento County. So let's congratulate the runner-up from John F. Kennedy High School, Amori Lee. And now, the 2020 Sacramento County Poetry Out Loud winner is Eden Gitahoon from C.K. McClatchy High School.